I'm in a courtyard, and the courtyard is it's in a palace, and there's lots of women around. And we're being watched by, we know the emperor and the sons were there. We're happy, we're fed. Some of us are very well dressed, and some of us are getting ready to take a bath. But we're always being watched. We belong to the emperor. And the windows that look down as a courtyard have lovely ornate carvings. They're not glass, it's like carved wood and carved stone. And we have a comfortable life, but there's no freedom. We're educated. We have what we want, beautiful clothes, music. Everybody likes the power, but I just want to be free. Just want to be free.
Are you male or female?
I'm female.
Do you feel young or old?
I'm about 20. At this time. You're still able to have children, but you're not in the first flush of youth. Even though I could live till I'm 50 or 60, there's plenty of older women who have more power in the palace.
Can you tell me what you look like? Describe yourself.
I have pale skin in comparison to other people. And here it means that you come from a rich family, because other women have darker skin. I have long hair, and it's different to everybody else's. Everybody else is bluish black, really dark, long hair. It's brown, but it's got red through it. And I understand them, but I know my family doesn't originally come from this area.
Do you have any sense of what era this is, or what country are you in?
The names of the countries are different now. Different. Ottoman Empire is where I am, and what I look more European than the other ladies. Look more Middle Eastern is the word to use. There are many of us, and we get to be educated, but we are always at the emperor's beck and call. And some people want to get power through politics. I'm not interested, but I also know I can be in danger if I don't play the game a little bit.
Have you got children of your own here?
Yes, but I do not see them. They are taken away to other parts of the palace. I have a feeling that my children are brought up by other people.
When you look around you from where you're standing, is there another significant person around you that's important in this past life?
I feel in this past life like I want more than my life is able to give me. I'm being given more education than more women are. We're all educated in here, we're all from good families, or we're from poor families, but we're given here to make our lives a bit better. But outside of here, there is nothing for us. So every time I look up at those carved windows, I feel like I'm in a gilded cage, and I feel this is what this is.
Okay.
I prefer not to think of my children. I know they're kept well, but I cannot be involved with them. I'm just here to have children and to exist in the palace. I think I'm like a concubine, and my job is to have children because the queen can't have them.
Okay. So I think we're going to leave this scene now, and we're going to go along to the next most significant scene that's within this same life. So we're going to leave that scene. We've learned all we can from there, and we're going to just move along within the same life. Higher self is going to move you along safely to the next important time in this life, where we will find more answers that you seek for your highest good. So move along now, leaving this scene and going to the next most important time in this life. You are there now.
I'm in a library, and I'm a teacher for some of the other women and girls. And I teach them poetry, and I also teach them philosophy. I get a kick out of it because I teach them things that people say that only men should learn. And I'm in my 30s, and my students are as young as 16 and as old as 40. I feel like this is more of a calling. My own children are of marriage age, and I have gone to visit them and wish the girls well. I have two girls and a boy. And the boy is being prepared for being a king. And sometimes I get to tutor him. He doesn't know I'm his mother. But I feel proud because I think he'll be a good man. Which isn't a value that kingship as it is values in this time. Ruthlessness and power mongering is what's valued. But he wants to do things for his people that are to keep the kingdom safe, to keep the people well.
Is your son, can you see your son right now? Are you looking at him?
Yes, he is about 14 and he's starting to get stubble. He's very proud of his facial hair. And his clothes are very well made, but they are not opulent like many of the people, the princes in the palace. The king has many wives and many concubines, of which I am one. But I am a favourite among the concubines. No one ever uses that word around me. There's an understanding I come as a queen from my own culture. So I kind of am inside and outside the structure of the palace. I get more respect than I should be due, and there's a bit more freedom. But my training from a child means I know how to operate within power, so I can protect myself.
Very good. Just going back to your son again. When you see your son, can you look into his eyes? Can you see him and look into his eyes?
He reminds me of my brother now. Kind of aloof, cold towards me. There's no real familial connection, but he has no bad feelings towards me. He understands this world, and I am proud that he's going to become a good man. His life could be short. There's always a fear, because if there's more than one son, the son that gets the throne kills all his brothers. It's rooted in this empire. Power is justification for everything.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move along now again within this same lifetime. We're going to move along to the last days of your life within this lifetime. So we're going to leave that scene. We're going to leave that scene now in love, and we're going to leave the people behind within that scene, and we're going to leave your son behind. We're going to leave those people to carry on their own pathways through life. We leave them with love and with light and with gratitude. So moving along and leaving that scene, we're going to go to the very last day of your life within this life. What do you see now?
I feel like at this point I have gained some independence I think I am housed outside the palace, but not to banish me, to actually protect me. And in my later years, my trusted servant becomes my lover, and we enjoy our freedom together. I feel this is my distant son's way of giving me respect, but it cannot be direct because it would be seen as treasonous to give a concubine this much of her own. It's like there seems to be some circumstance in the city, and the excuse was made to send me, away from something to protect me. But I don't care. I enjoy my time. I have lots of books to learn from, and I have, for the first time, positive male energy in my life that isn't looking at me as to use me sexually or anything. It's a mutual relationship. We enjoy many aspects of each other's personalities. And I know my son is now king. He chose not to kill his other brother. That mightn't work well for the kingdom, but it made me happy that he chose to acknowledge his humanity and not go with the tradition of the empire. I'm happy, and I pass in my sleep in the arms of my lover.
Are you aware that you are passing? Is your soul aware that you've passed over?
Yes, but it's fleeting because I didn't have any great faith in anything in that life. I just felt functional. But towards the end, I managed to feel like a woman for a woman's sake rather than a woman as an object, which is what I felt like in the palace.
After you passed over, when you took your last breath, what did you see or feel or experience after that moment?
It was a relief and a very big freedom. And sadness that I let my partner after me. We had discussed if I went first, that he should find his way in life.
What age do you think you were when you passed away?
45. Yeah, 45. It's hard to know because my culture considered the baby a year old when they were born. So maybe 46 is more exact. Well, I had a lot happen in my life, and I was not scared to die. It was, at some level, I took a last breath. It was not painful, and it was not suicide. It was just leaving my body. I learned what I came to learn.
Did you see any of your ancestors waiting for you on the other side?
Yeah. I feel like I originally came from Britain or Wales. And in that life I was prized for my pale skin because it was exotic in comparison to the other girls in the harem.
Do you, looking back on this particular life, were you removed forcefully or kidnapped in order to be taken to a different country, or did you go by your own will?
I feel there was some trade mission to where my father ruled, and I was sent. There was double crossing. I was sent to become a main wife of a chieftain, and I ended up becoming a concubine in harem. My life was comfortable, but the idea of marriage in that context versus the idea of marriage in my own culture were two different things. And so that's why I always felt imprisoned, because I was not given any respect. I was just a vessel to produce children.
Okay. Okay. And in a while, we're going to receive the answers about this past life from your higher self as to the reasons why you experienced this life. But what we will do now is we're going to leave this life now, and we're asking the higher self that if there is another lifetime that the higher self, or another experience that the higher self would like you to see now and to experience and to reflect on, that we're going to leave this life now. We're going to leave that situation, and we're going to leave that person behind to continue on in their own path where they will find their own peace. And with the guidance of the higher self, we're going to go along to another time and place in your future or in your past time. Another life of importance. The next life of importance where we will find answers today. You are there now. What do you see?
I am standing proud. I am from what you may call Phoenicia. I'm a Phoenician woman. I have olive skin and beautiful curly long hair. It's thick on my head. I have gold earrings. I'm proud of them. They go from my earlobes down to the top of my shoulders. Today I have 4 ornaments on my earrings. We use the ornaments like money, so I will have a shopping spree. I have thick eyebrows, kind of square jaw, and I have jewellery on. I have 3 rings on each hand, and I have nice leather sandals and beautiful woolen purple. You would say dark red. I say purple in my language. Dress. I am proud. I am proud.
It's beautiful. Are you young or old in this lifetime?
I'm in my 20s. I've been married for a while. I have 2 children. I'm very happy with them. I may have more. My husband is happy. He goes trading and he brings me back some nice gifts. I weave and my work in the market. I sell, but I also make fine things for the temples. And people know me. And I chose my husband. I chose him. And he did choose me as well. And we have a good life together. Sometimes it is lonely when he goes away on trading, but when he comes back, we never have harsh words.
Can you see your husband now?
He is a little bit taller than I am. And here I have a dress. He has a tunic, but his tunic covers him from the waist to his knee. And he has bracelets on each wrist. And he has a cloak also. And I'm proud because I wove his cloak for him on my own loom. I dyed the wool for it from the goats that we have around. He looks good and he smells good and he is my husband.
I want you to look into his eyes. Look deep into his eyes now. He's standing right in front of you. Tell me what you see in his eyes. What do you recognize?
He's the man I most recently fell in love with. He knows everything about me.
Do you recognize his soul through his eyes?
Yes, in my life as Joni, this man is the man I most recently fell in love with that rejected me. Industrious, businesslike. But we were too far away. In this life, we're together almost all the time, except for the months he was away trading.
Okay, stepping away now from your husband. Is there anything else significant when you look around you in this life that your higher self wants to bring your attention to?
In this life, I feel grounded, I feel part of community. And it's very important for me to be so. I know the women in the market I trade with and the men too. Sometimes we flirt, sometimes we haggle. It's all in good sport. My loyalty of my husband is something that's very precious to me also. But he also knows that I can have my pick of any man that I meet. So we're equally matched. But we love each other very deeply. And that's very Love is very strong, whether it's expressed as doing good work on the loom or cooking a meal for my children or designing a new cloak for my husband. My life revolves around love.
That's very beautiful. We're going to leave this scene now, and we're going to move this scene along within the same life, and we're going to move along to the very last days of your life within this lifetime. So we're going to leave the scene. We're going to leave your husband and your children there. They're safe and loved, and it's safe for you to leave them, and they're going to go on their way, on their own path. We're going to leave the scene and move along now to the very last days of your life. What do you see now?
My children have their own children now. My husband died before me on shipwreck. He was going out to trade. We did not lose much materially, but of course he was the most precious cargo, and it broke my heart. I did not live a miserable life afterwards, but I was self-sufficient enough, both mine and his wealth. I could live on my own as a widow. I wasn't forced into another marriage, and my space was respected. I was happy to leave to meet him in the new life after death. But in the years after he passed, I poured my love into my family, and they poured their love into me.
Who was with you when you passed over, and your last moments, when you took your last breath? Who was there?
My daughter and my son, their children. I had a maid that would help me, but maid is, she was like my sister. We did so much work together and laughed and cried together also. So all the important people. I am aware in this life that whatever religion that was there, I took from it what I wanted and I left it behind. There was I wasn't in fear of anything that would happen, because I knew who the wise women were and I knew who the wise men were, and I went to them if I needed help. But I had enough to get on day by day myself. So I was sad to leave the love of my family, but I was very happy to go back into the arms of my husband.
So what happened after you took your last breath and you passed over and you met with your husband? What were the next moments that occurred after that?
We took some time together. We drank our favorite wine and had our date cakes. That's what we like to eat together to keep, they always joked, it kept the marriage sweet. And then after some time, we agreed on what our next set of lives were to be together. We've lived many lives together, and sometimes we're apart. but it's always in agreement. We make the plan and we live it out.
Okay, thank you for that. We're going to move on